200-knot piston singles are something many aviators have long wished for, and manufacturers have been trying to fill this gap, but none have truly come through. Most 200-knot planes on the market today are actually 180-knot planes if you look at it from a realistic point of view. Only the experimental world has this offering from the Lancairs. The TTX was Cessna's attempt to crack this niche. The TTX, descended from Lancairs and Columbia's aircraft, and previously known as the Cessna 400 and the Corvallis TT, represents a significant departure from the norm for Cessna, while leaving no confusion about the handling and range capabilities of this speedy machine. Although the company has built more than 190,000 single-engine aircraft, most had two things in common. They were made of metal and had a high wing configuration. However, not only is the TTX of composite construction and has a low wing layout, but it is also the first Cessna that was not designed and certified in-house, as it is derived from the Columbia 300, 350, and 400 series. The TTX is a single-engine, fixed-gear, low-wing general aviation aircraft, and the TT stands for twin turbocharged. Known to be a prime performer, this high-powered speedster boasts innovative design features and high-tech avionics. To top it off, the TTX is certified in the utility category, one of the benefits of which is its comparatively high 158-knot maneuvering speed. The single-engine aircraft has been designed to give the pilot a jet-like flying experience. The TTX is distinguished by its sleek lines, gull-wing doors, and drooped-wing leading-edge cuffs. One of the TTX's main attractions is that it is an undeniably hot airplane with a bold look, thanks to Cessna's focus on enhancing every element. As you approach the airplane on the ramp, this is apparent, but the source of the appeal might be a mystery. The answer is that the new TTX is painted just like in the olden days. The paint adds a degree of class and style to the airplane, as Cessna's current paint schemes are so pleasing and classic. The aircraft is 25 feet long and 9 feet high, with a wingspan of 36 feet. Inside and out, the TTX is a full-featured airplane and a strong one. Cessna may not have had a lot of experience constructing with composites, but it clearly learned quickly, for a close inspection of the two-spar wing reveals it to be extremely well made and extraordinarily smooth. Although the aircraft is primarily made from glass-reinforced plastic, the main spars, doors, cowlings, flaps, and all the flying controls are made from carbon fiber composite, as are the tailplane ribs and spars. Metal is used only for the undercarriage legs and for the mounting tubes for the tailplane. Embedded in the fuselage structure is a protective carbon fiber roll cage that surrounds the cabin. The airframe has an unlimited life and has been fatigue tested for the equivalent of 25,200 flight hours. Access to the cockpit is very good. The generously sized gull-wing doors open wide and are held up by gas struts. Sensibly located handles and steps make it easy to step up onto the wing. Instead of a large non-slip walkway, there are merely slender strips of non-skid material on the wing. Clearly, every effort has been made to reduce drag. The initial impression of the interior is that it is more like an expensive car than a GA aircraft, as the seats and sidewalls are covered with hand-stitched leather that uses high-tech and ergonomically correct padding. The cabin measures 4 feet in height, 4 feet in width, and 11 feet 6 inches in length, with a total seating capacity of 4, obviously. The rear seats have good forward visibility, but less headroom than the SR22. Behind the rear seats, the 120-pound baggage area has great access via a large, lockable door on the port side, and an excellent feature is that you cannot remove the key from the lock unless it is secured. The baggage bay can not only carry a good weight, but, more importantly, a considerable volume, but it's slightly smaller than what you get in the SR22, and the lack of a rear window makes the baggage and rear seat area darker. Moving to the cockpits, another feature that enhances the automotive analogy is that the restraint system is an inertia reel 3-point harness that is very comfortable. On the plus side, the energy-absorbing seats exceed current FAA certification requirements. The cockpit incorporates a roll cage capable of supporting 3 times the aircraft's weight, and in the event of the aircraft coming to rest inverted, it is possible to jettison the door. Another non-Cessna feature is the side stick. Note that this is a true, fully articulated side stick and not the forward and aft sliding side yoke fitted to Cirrus aircraft. As for the panel, its clean, well-organized look is dominated by Garmin's G2000 Avionics suite, with the view of the panel wide open thanks to the side-stick flight controls. The aircraft features Cessna's intrinsic flight deck, which incorporates an integrated cockpit design for safe, simple, and intuitive flight. The flight deck is equipped with the Garmin G2000 Avionics system and Garmin Electronic Stability Protection System, a monitoring and course correction technology for maintaining the safety and flight-stable conditions of the aircraft. It also features an optional FIKI system that permits flight planning in icing weather conditions. The Avionics suite features dual 14-inch high-definition displays and touchscreen controls. The touchscreen G2000 system complements the pilot's knowledge and skill, representing a quantum leap in avionics design. The avionics components include a GDU 1040A pilot primary flight display, a GDU 1040A multifunction display, and a GDC 74A dual air data computer, along with an L3 communication trilogy standby electronic flight instrument system to the left of the pilot's PFD. The G2000 and its autopilot make serious IFR cross-country flights a piece of cake. You can even split the multifunction display screen and show two different views at the same time, XM data link weather on one and Jeppesen approach plates on the other, for example. Another nice touch is the panel-mounted pulse oximeter, a nice feature for high altitude or night flying. Insert your finger in the sensing unit, and your blood oxygen saturation and heart rate appear in a window of the G2000 MFD. The TTX uses a 310 horsepower Continental TSIO 550C engine with a 3-blade constant-speed Macaulay propeller in front. Despite having a fixed undercarriage, the TTX is the fastest certified single-piston engine 4-seat tourer in the world, and as you'd expect, the wing features some advanced aerodynamics to allow it to function efficiently and safely at the extremes of the operating envelope. These include large drooped cuffs on the leading edge, located at approximately the same chord line as the inboard end of the ailerons, and little plates attached to the outboard ends of the ailerons. The combination of cuffs, plates, and large Fowler flaps all combine to grant the TTX excellent low-speed characteristics, despite its impressive top speed. The flaps and speed brakes, another deviation from the Cessna norm, are electrically actuated. The flaps have 3 settings: up, 12 degrees for takeoff, and 40 degrees for landing. Although quite clearly designed as a serious traveling machine, it really does possess extremely fine handling. Breakout forces are very low, there's practically no stiction, and all 3 primary controls are agreeably harmonized, well-balanced, and nicely weighted, providing crisp and precise handling. Roll rates are sporty enough to be enjoyable without sacrificing stability. The field of view is good in the turn and throughout the flights, and because the wing loading is quite high, it provides a nice stable ride in turbulence. Stalls are a minor event. The TTX is easier to trim precisely than the Cirrus. However, when accidentally perturbed in pitch, it takes longer to work its way back to the trimmed speed. The TTX gives you about 1,000 pounds of useful load to play with, 612 pounds of which could be fuel, 102 gallons, which is 10 more than in the SR22. You could take a short flight with 4 large people or a long flight with 2 and a few suitcases. Economy range tops 1,200 nautical miles, but 900 is more realistic with a high power, flying 235-knot lean of peak cruise and a 45-minute reserve. The takeoff distance is 1,900 feet and the landing distance is 2,640 feet. The maximum climb rate is 1,400 feet per minute, while its stall speed is 59 knots. Back to full throttle now. Cessna advertises 235 knots as a maximum cruise speed, but that's up at 25,000 feet, where you'll need oxygen, which is standard, where many probably won't fly, and at 85% power and a fuel-hungry 24 gallons per hour, at a 50 degrees rich of peak EGT power setting. Still, it's nice to have the option of flight-level flying for weather avoidance or to take advantage of rip-roaring tailwinds. A more typical cruise altitude and power setting would be below 10,000 feet, and at lean of peak mixtures, where true airspeeds at 65 to 75% power run around 170 to 180 knots, and fuel burns average of 14 to 18 gallons per hour, respectively. The tricycle undercarriage is a fixed tubular steel arrangement fitted with toe-actuated hydraulic Cleveland brakes and a castering nose wheel. The reasons for the fixed undercarriage are simple. cost, complexity, weight, and cheaper insurance where there is no risk of landing wheels up. However, the downside is that, as the tires are not very big, if operated at the 3,600 pounds MAUW on a soft surface, the TTX would soon sink down to the spats. Unlike most Cessna singles, it is not a good airplane for soft or unprepared runways. And to be fair, neither is its closest competitor, the SR22. While this is a minor point in the United States, which has plenty of hard-surfaced runways, in Europe, even large fields are still grass. As for sales, the TTX has been challenged by Cirrus's SR22T, its main competitor in the marketplace. The SR22T has a bigger cabin and more baggage space, but the TTX beats at speed, has bigger displays, a touchscreen controller, and speed brakes, and holds more fuel, all standard. Cessna also says the TTX has better runway performance, a better climb rate, and at a high-speed power setting can fly an 800 nautical mile trip 26 knots faster than an SR22T, arriving at the destination 19 minutes quicker while burning just 12.7 gallons more fuel. But the more pertinent question for wider sales is whether the TTX is a better buy than the Cirrus. The G2000-based Intrinsic has serious appeal. Cirrus still offers its G1000-based Perspective Avionics suite, and comparing prices is somewhat unfair because of the Avionics difference. As evenly equipped as we can make them, a non-Fiki Cirrus SR22T GTS is $712,600, while the equivalent Cessna TTX would be $772,925, a $60,000 difference. For Fiki versions, the delta drops to $50,000. But as we said, this comparison is unfair because the TTX flight deck is really a generation ahead of the Cirrus. Cessna made a mistake by not including a full airframe parachute system on the TTX. The parachute is a serious selling point for Cirrus, and ignoring its effect and believing that real pilots won't need parachutes was delusional. The TTX is a perfect blend of a harmonious environment infused with the latest technology, providing the pilots with a comfortably controlled flight experience. Designed to balance control with thrilling performance, direct control technology makes the Cessna TTX more responsive. The system connects the control surface response more directly to the side stick, which gives the Cessna TTX pilot complete, precise command in maneuvering and handling the aircraft, keeping you aware at all times. All composite construction gives the Cessna TTX its superior strength, stability, and durability. It is so resilient that it qualifies for the FAA's most demanding non-aerobatic certification level. The TTX doesn't have a parachute because its structure doesn't allow enough interior space to accommodate a parachute system. If it had, it would have come at the expense of baggage capacity. Maybe Cessna pulled the plug for good. Currently, the airplane can only be locked and unlocked from inside the cockpit. This is annoying as a passenger or a flight instructor because someone has to open the left door and climb in, or lean way over just to lock or unlock the right side of the plane. Moreover, the T-handle for adjusting the seat is in a bad position, on the side of the seat, which should be relocated to the front of the seat so it's easier to adjust. The seat height has been controlled by changing seat cushions, which is a ridiculous plan. Instead, the seats should have had an adjustable seat height control, or seat rails that rise the closer you slide your seat to the panel, like on the Cirrus. It's not difficult to make an airplane go fast or slow. The trick is to make it do both, and the TTX, being the polished performer it is, does just that. It's the fastest in its class, has the best avionics, boasts a number of highly desirable safety features, and has terrific ramp appeal. To conclude, if you want gobs of performance, sports car-like handling, strength, and durability, then the TTX is for you. To use a well-worn phrase, the SR22T is more of a passenger's airplane, while the TTX is definitely a pilot's airplane.